and then load it up later on YouTube when that's going, and then we'll be able to be immortalized here forever, as long as computers last, I suppose. So welcome everyone. We'll go ahead and get started here. And just to let you guys know, we're going to have a couple of introductions before Chef Jamie gets started. But welcome to our second in the International Vegan Food Fest demos that we're doing here. And Stephanie's going to give a little bit more formal introduction in a minute. But I wanted to welcome all of you to this adventure here. And we're so pleased that Chef Jamie could be with us here, and excited about her presentation just before Pesach, of course. And we got some special treats here, and we're gonna just a little bit of rules. We'll probably ask everybody at this point through the introductions to mute themselves. And then once Chef Jamie starts, she has suggested that if you, and she doesn't mind, she's used to this, as people want to ask her questions during the presentation, if you got something, or if you want to put something in the chat room, I'll go ahead and read that to her and she can interact with that, as long as she's not cutting something, I suppose. That would be a little risky, but anyway. But we're going to go ahead. I think, Stephanie, you're going to say a few words, and then Shelley from IAC, who's one of our co-partners on this adventure, is going to say a few things about IAC. So welcome, everybody. And Stephanie, you want to go ahead?
Okay. Sure. And I want to suggest to everybody that they do this. This is working really well. If you want to drag down the cutting board to see it large while Chef Jamie is speaking, you can pin it. You can drag it down and pin it. Thank you, Shelley. That is working really, really well. So, okay. This month, we're so happy to welcome popular restaurant owner, personal chef, and food blogger, Chef Jamie E. from Izgara Middle Eastern Cuisine for a taste of the delectable vegan flavors of Israel. Chef Jamie will explore Israeli vegan dishes that you can cook for your Passover, Seder, and beyond. This is the second in our International Vegan Cooking Demonstration Series, and we would also like to thank Shemayim, the Jewish Animal Advocacy Group, for their support, and Israel 360 for their help with publicity and marketing. We are so thrilled to be bringing this wonderful Israeli cooking demo to you so that you can see how deliciously and creatively you can eat on a plant-based diet. You will see that you don't have to sacrifice flavors or taste to have a great vegan meal. Every day, we have the opportunity to live our values through our food choices. As Jews, we have a long history of doing that. If we value the ethical treatment of animals and the ethical treatment of our planet, and we have access to plant-based alternatives, then veganism also becomes an expression of our values. It is certainly an aspirational goal for us in the coming year. By learning to prepare some delicious vegan food, we hope to make achieving that goal easier for all of us. Also, stay tuned for our next international cooking demonstration on April 18th at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, when we will bring you virtually to Rome for a fabulous Italian vegan cooking demonstration by Chef Beta, accompanied by five-star Jewish walking tour guide Michaela Pavoncello, who will provide historical context and share anecdotes. So now we invite you to enjoy learning to prepare some delicious Israeli vegan food that will add fantastic flavor and color to your Seder. Take it away, Chef Jamie. Or unless it's going to be taken away, Shelley. I prepared this before I knew you were going to speak, Shelley. But we have a small group.
Yes, which is nice and intimate. Thank you, Stephanie, and thank you, Scott. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to partner with Temple Solel. I'm actually your neighbor. I live in Hollywood on Sterling, so it's even an added benefit for me to partner with a neighbor. We look forward to more such partnerships in the future. I will send you, maybe rather than talk about it now, I'll send you an email because we've got a couple of interesting things I believe that you may like from now until Yom HaAtzmaut, some programs. Some are virtual, some are free that you may want to take a part of for Yom HaShoah, Yom HaZikaron, and Yom HaAtzmaut. But we'll clear the floor to Chef Jamie, who's not only an amazing chef, as you mentioned, the owner of Izgara restaurant, and does a lot of private events. She's also a very close personal friend, and I can personally attest to the deliciousness of all her of all her cookings. She specializes in foods from around the world. And Jamie, teach us.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, thank you guys so very much for inviting me today. I'm very excited. I'm excited always to show my cooking and like teaching people the ways that to the taste. I'm just blabbing, sorry, but I'm excited. I'm very excited, and thank you guys for inviting me today. Today we're gonna make stuffed vegetables. I sent out a list of the general vegetables that we're gonna do, but there's 2 ways to doing it, and both of them are really fun. So whoever's cooking with me today, do we have people cooking with me today, or? So like Scott said, if you have any questions during the class that you guys want to ask, just unmute yourself and ask freely. I'm used to it. I like it. I like to feel like I'm not in front of a camera. I like to feel like people are with me in the kitchen. It's one of my, I miss that more than anything, the actually face-to-face cooking classes that I've used to have. And now they're coming back little by little. So if anybody has any questions or just wants to be unmuted and want to talk to me, feel free to do it. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with, so we should have the quinoa. Someone did ask me before that, someone did ask me about the lentils. I saw in one of the questions in the chat room that the lentils are not kosher for Passover for everybody. So we don't have to actually add them. It's just another way to give it a little bit more taste, but it's not a must. We don't have to. You could keep them out. You can put them in if you eat them. It's kitniot, I know. So I'm not gonna, because if it may be a problem, so I'm actually not gonna add them today. So we're gonna put those aside. Okay, instead of that, we're actually
Is there an alternative?
Say what?
Is there an alternative?
We don't really
to the
have to
lentils?
use it. I just like to make it more, but what we're gonna do is I'm gonna actually use the filling of the vegetables that we're using. I'm just gonna fill those inside instead. But the quinoa by itself is really good and very, like, it would be like rice. You don't have to add much to it. It has a lot of flavor, and it matters what spices you put on it. You really don't have to, but we're gonna add the inside of our veggies. So what we're gonna do is today I'm gonna do peppers, red, green, just for the colors. I have the zucchinis. Again, I chose colorful zucchinis. So I have and a green one, okay? And I have an eggplant. So all of these, I'm gonna show 2 ways that we could stuff. So all those we're gonna set aside a second, and we're gonna start with our filling. So we're gonna take an onion, put that aside. Today I was asked about the cutting and the danger with cutting. So there's actually a technique to not cut your fingers, is to put your, see? And then with the knife, it would actually slide off. It wouldn't cut. So that's a technique that chefs use. So they actually put, if you could see, you would actually put, your fingers in, and then there's no danger of your fingers being in the way.
What kind of knife is that? What brand knife is that?
I actually don't use a brand one. I'm not gonna lie. I have the best luck with, actually, this one is from Publix. I have ones that cost $700, and I have ones that cost $10. And I actually like this one the most in all of them. And I switch them off. I have someone that comes and sharpens them, but after a while, I just love, I like the ones that are simple. My cupboard, my drawer of knives is just full. I probably have every one that's out there. So I'm gonna chop my onions. Now, one thing in my kitchen you will always find, I use olive oil for all of my dishes. I don't use, it's something that comes from Israel. Olive oil is something huge. So all of my cooking is with olive oil. But you could totally use avocado oil. You could use any else that you people like. But I use olive oil. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna saute my onions. Okay. I'm gonna take, so garlic is one of my favorite things. I love garlic. So in most of my recipes, I try to put it down to 3, 4, but I could put up to 7. Like my family loves garlic. So I'm gonna put right now, I'm gonna put 3 garlic. Okay. So put that.
So how do you determine how many cloves you're gonna put in there? Do you just for a feel for it, or what?
Most people like 3, 4, okay? Because we're gonna add actually garlic powder too. But if you like garlic, you would know, like if you have a taste of garlic and you love garlic, so I would put 7, like not even 2. I love garlic. So I put a lot of garlic in there. That's good for you too, so they say. So I'm gonna saute the garlic and the onions, okay, in my olive oil. I got ready to cabbage. If anybody wants to stuff cabbage, what you do is you actually put it in water and you boil it, and then little by little you start taking off layers of it. And then this.
Jamie, did you cut, like, did you flat cut the bottom of it? Could you
Yes.
show that again?
Yes.
Okay, so that's like it, that's the trick to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because then it's easier to peel it off without them breaking.
So that's already been boiled?
Yes, I boiled this one because I gave it as an option. So this I boiled it ahead of time.
For how long, Jamie?
Until the leaves start being it matters what, it could take like 5 minutes, it could take more, it could take less. You just have to make sure, and you actually, when you're actually doing only cabbage, stuffed cabbage, you would leave this in the water, and then each time you take it out and you would peel a little bit out of it, because you don't want it to be too much. You see, this is a little too much. This is a little too much. Okay. So we would keep it in the hot water until, but I wanted to peel it out faster and to give, I could show before the class is over. So this is what we were gonna do with the cabbage, okay? I'm gonna put this aside. In the meantime, when our onion and our garlic is cooking, we're gonna take our peppers, okay? And we're gonna cut the tops off of them, okay? If you can't see it, just let me know too, because I'm with 2 cameras, so I'm kind of trying to. So we would take out the middle, okay, that we throw away, but we leave the tops, because these are gonna be our lids for our peppers, okay? So we're just gonna take out the seeds, and we're gonna leave the tops. Now, with zucchinis, there's 2 ways to do it. One way I'll show you. So one way would be, I know that there's a way that you could just skin everything from the inside, but I'm gonna show 2 ways that are easier without so much work. And we're gonna make a little boat. Okay, we're gonna make a little boat out of, and this we're keeping. The pieces we're keeping, because that's what we're gonna put inside our quinoa later. Okay, so we're gonna make a lid. You can keep them whole. I just, when in the pan, they set nicer if they're in halves. But I don't want it to take over my whole pan, because I'm actually stuffing a whole bunch of vegetables. So I cut them in half. I didn't go all the way. See, I did not go all the way. I just did a little boat like this. See? I have those. Don't forget to stir your onion so we don't burn it. A little bit. Doing the same thing. So this inside is actually gonna replace the lentils. So all the inside, we're gonna replace it. Okay, so here's a boat.
So we got a question. Can you do tomatoes too?
Yes, yes. If anybody wants to see, we could totally do a tomato too. I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna put this aside 1 second, and I'll show you. I don't have big tomatoes with me, but basically we'd do the same thing like the peppers. Okay, you would cut off the top.
Okay, we're here.
Okay, you would cut off the top, but you would buy the bigger tomatoes. You wouldn't buy these, the palm tomatoes. Okay, I'm just showing it how it's done. You would take the same. With the bigger tomatoes, it's much easier. Okay. And you would do, again, all the insides we're keeping. We're not throwing anything away. Okay. This is going to add taste later to our dish. See? So we have our tomato, we have zucchinis, and we have peppers. If you have any questions, just unmute yourself and ask. Okay? So right now, this is what we got here.
We can't see your hands.
It should be on. I have another camera going on.
We can see you, but we can't see what you're cutting.
There's actually another camera under Jamie Erickson. There should be another camera with, it's actually the picture of the cutting board.
I can help with that. I don't know if you were on. I don't know if you were on when we started earlier, but
No.
Okay, so are you looking at gallery view or speaker view? Hello?
Yes,
Okay, do you see in one of the windows the picture of the cutting board with all the vegetables on it?
no.
No.
Okay, so maybe move to the next page. Try moving to the next page. Is this Elaine that's asking?
Yeah.
Elaine,
Okay,
you see a
so
little
if
arrow
you-
that you can move there?
Now I see you, Rob.
Well, we don't have the bottom part.
We
Okay,
don't,
so, okay, if you go on the top right, you see the view options? You see
oh,
where it
now I
says
see, yeah, I
view?
see it up there. Yeah, click on that.
Okay, you click on that and choose gallery view. Okay,
Ah, I see it.
okay, so now go to it and go on the top right. There are 3 little dots. If you click on it, you're going to see an option to pin video, just like Stephanie here suggested, which works perfectly for me.
Where it says remove pin.
No, so that means you already have it pinned. So do you see it big
Yeah,
now?
yeah, we see it perfect now.
We see
Thank
the
you.
top part, but not the bottom. We see the bottom.
No, we see it. That's what,
Okay, that's,
Do you
perfect.
see this?
yeah, we're good. We're good to go.
you
So I'm
have.
gonna show it again. So I'm gonna show it again. The tomato, what I did is, okay, I just took a spoon. You wouldn't use this tomato. This is a palm tomato. It's really small. You wouldn't use this per se. It works, but you wouldn't use this. You would use the bigger ones, okay? I took a spoon, or people have the ones that think, I use all kitchen that everybody has. I don't buy special equipment for that. I took a small spoon, cleaned out all of the middle, all the seeds, okay? And put it aside. Everything, see all the filling? I don't throw it away. This is used later inside what we fill our vegetables with, okay? With the quinoa or rice, or if you use it after Passover. So at this point, I have a red pepper, a green pepper. I have zucchini, which what I did is I cut them in half because I like them to sit really nice in my pan. Like I like them to sit really pretty, because you'll see what an art I'll do in the pan when I'm stuffing them. So I cut them in half, and I made little boats out of them. See, so I took the inside of them with a spoon, and I made little boats out of them. Okay, Another way of filling them is if you have one of these dangerous things. Not everybody does. A lot of people are scared of them. Rightful, true, it is a scary thing. I do the very thin one, and I take the zucchini and I do these, okay? They're very, very thin. Okay? So I have the yellow zucchinis, I have the green zucchinis. Let me fix it a little bit more even, let me see. Okay. And all of this, I'm gonna put in one pan. And when you guys set it all together and you guys bring it to the table for the holiday, it's phenomenal and people love it. And it's a whole meal in one pot. The other thing I'm gonna stuff today is an eggplant. But the eggplant, you are gonna have to use it to cut it very thin or it won't bend. And you're probably gonna have to use something like this. Okay, so again. So now I have, here's all the vegetables are ready for me to stuff, okay?
What do they call that thing? It's a guillotine or
It's a
something?
guillotine, yeah, it's a guillotine.
Guillotine. Oh,
As
that's nice.
the name, it's what it is.
Right.
It's a dangerous, I bought it actually from Amazon and it has like a glove and it has like this plastic thing that you don't have to use your hand. I know so many people, it gives me like the jibby-dibby just to think about it.
Yeah, right, right.
But don't go all the way through with it. Cut it until halfway and then use this later on for filling, okay?
Isn't it also called a mandolin or something like that?
Yes, yes.
The other thing that you gave me an idea about when you're talking about the zucchini boat is to, since it's Passover, people could make the little Moses basket and make a little Moses to put in there.
You're very
There you
creative.
go.
That's very creative. So what we're gonna do is, again, we're gonna use the pieces that we have left over for our filling. So we have the zucchini, I have eggplant, all this I'm gonna use for my filling. Again, what you guys could do as well is you can add mushrooms to it. You could use any vegetable out there. And we are so lucky with so many vegetables that we have here that are filling. You don't need any extra, you don't even need the quinoa, to be completely honest. You could just do it filling with vegetables in it and keeping it healthier. You know, quinoa is actually healthy. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to our filling. We're gonna set all of our stuff aside. So we have, I'm gonna put all this in my pot. And then someone is gonna have to come pick it up later.
I volunteer for that.
Come to Weston, you could get a whole pot. Okay, so I'm gonna cut my vegetables. You can make them small, you can make them big.
Do you think it's necessary to salt the eggplant or you just use it like
No,
that?
no, at this point, no, because we're gonna put all the seasoning inside the filling. We don't need to do anything right now, okay? So right now, I'm just getting all the stuff prepared because the minute we put the quinoa in. Okay, so I have the zucchini. Now the eggplant. I'm gonna chop everything. So here I have the eggplant. I have the tomato filling. I have both the zucchini filling. Chop it all up. And like I said, you see how much we have here? The quinoa is just to give it a little bit of a body because it's really. Okay. I'm gonna chop it really small. You don't have to if you don't want to. If you want like bigger pieces, I try to do it as small as possible because my son is picky. If I want to slip in any kind of vegetable whatsoever without him noticing, it has to be as small as possible, and then he doesn't really notice. Chopping. It's small enough. Okay, now we're gonna go back to our, all of this aside a second. And we're gonna bring back our onion and our garlic, okay? You can see it? Okay, we're gonna turn that back on. Just gonna make sure that we have our lids for our peppers and the tomato, that we didn't ruin them or chop them up. Heat that up again. Turn it off again. We're gonna add all of our mixture inside. At this point, I would actually add some mushrooms too. Just because I feel like it's called for with all this melody. So I'm gonna go get some. Or maybe not. I thought I had some, never mind. Scratch that out. But I would totally chop some mushrooms in this as well. So we have, and here we have the quinoa. The quinoa, I rinsed it out until the water becomes see-through. So you just, like you would do rice. I use this melody, the one with all the colors, because when you're actually, when you stuff it, the colors are amazing. With all the vegetable colors, it's amazing. So I did the one with the multiple colors on it. So now that we took off the lentils, we're not gonna use as much broth. Keep in mind, okay, we're taking off the amount of broth. And later on, I can actually send Scott and Shelly a recipe that I fixed it of exactly how to make it. Because you don't need 2 cups of broth right now.
Okay. I just put the list of ingredients in
Yeah.
case anybody who
Yeah, so we
didn't get
won't
that.
need 2. We definitely won't need 2.
Okay,
Because the lentils, they sop up all the liquid, so it needs a little bit more, but right now we don't need that much. Okay. Just saute that a little bit. Our veggies.
Is your quinoa pre-cooked or?
No, because it's gonna actually sit inside the vegetable for a long time. It will have time to so it's actually not. I just soaked it. Like I didn't soak it, I just washed it. Okay. Saute it. I could smell the smell. I don't know about you guys. I could smell all the vegetables right now, the smell of them. Now we'll add my quinoa. I'm actually gonna make, I added more quinoa here because I'm gonna make grape leaves, vegetarian grape leaves for the Seder. So I'm gonna use all of this later and stuff everything. See, I'm not even using meat this time either. It's amazing. I love quinoa. Okay, so we're gonna wait a little bit and then we're gonna add our spices to it. Okay. Yeah. We'll stir it just so it doesn't stick to the bottom. And I don't want it to burn. And the reason we actually add the spices before the liquid, because it actually opens up the spice. So if you actually add the olive oil spices when it's really hot, it opens up the spices and you get a lot more out of the spice than you would if you would have liquid right now and added the spice. And you'll see by the smell too. So here's something with spices. Spices, I could have an idea of spices and I add a lot to it because I love stuff with a lot of spice. You, on the other hand, could like it less spice, not spicy as in spicy less spice in your food. So even if I give out a recipe, always keep in mind that I add more because I love the taste of spices. Like I have this thing with spices. So if I put a teaspoon or a tablespoon, you could totally go down with it, with the amount of it. It's totally up to you guys and what you guys like with spices. And this is actually an ingredient that there's not a lot of spices. Most of my recipes are full of spices. There's a list of spices. Okay, so we have paprika. There's 1 tablespoon of paprika.
Is that sweet paprika?
Yeah. I have cumin. I have a teaspoon of cumin. And I have garlic powder. Again, I love garlic, so I could put a whole bunch in it, but I would say 1 teaspoon of garlic. Okay, you see the colors? Of my quinoa. At this point, we are going to put our broth, our vegetable broth. Put 1 cup of vegetable broth in it. Okay. I'm gonna. At this point now is the salt and pepper. Put as much, and once in a while you're gonna have to taste it and see if it's tasty enough for you. Salt and pepper. Totally up to your taste. Okay. Taste it.
Jamie, what other spices might you use? You
Say
said
what?
you said usually you add more spices.
I would use
turmeric.
I would use that.
Okay.
I would use you know, I would totally use oh my gosh, I just had it. Smoky paprika too. I put a tiny little bit of it if you like the taste of smoky, but not too much. I would put even like 1/3 of a teaspoon. Like really not a lot of it, just to give it a little kick. I need to look. I have like my spice. I open when I cook. I open my spice cabinet, which is like 2 cupboards full of it. My pantry is actually a spice cabinet. I'm not gonna lie. And I just open it and I just throw stuff together. I haven't gone wrong yet. But I like to try stuff. But let's stay with those for now, just so, because I know that one works for everybody. Taste that. Okay. We're good on a taste. Okay, now just give it a little bit to simmer. If it kind of observes the water. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a nice pan. Okay, see the pan right here that I'm using? Okay, so I'm using a nice, okay, this is the pan I'm using. that could go into the oven or not. Okay, and now we're gonna set it up. It's a whole art thing with setting up. What I do, so because it needs to be on the, it needs to cook for a long time on very, very low. I put potatoes and I put tomatoes on the bottom. It's just to make sure that if it does burn, it burns that part and it doesn't burn our actually vegetables that we have planned on eating. Okay, so what my secret is, I take potatoes and I put tomatoes and I do a layer of that, of slices. Okay.
Is that a cast iron pan?
No, it's not actually. No, it's a sultan pan, but no, it's not a cast iron.
So are you actually doing something with the potatoes or tomatoes
So
afterwards?
here
or-
I'll show. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this and I'll show what we're doing when I'm setting up the thing. So I peeled my potatoes, okay, and the potatoes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slice them. Okay. They don't need to be fancy because again, we're not eating these. Well, you could, but it's not. We're actually, this is if it burns, this is what's going to be burnt. Okay. And now I'm setting up my plate, my pan. Sorry. So I'm taking my. Oops. Okay, my thing just died. Did it? No, maybe not. Okay, so I'm gonna take olive oil. I didn't it? Do you see my the cutting board?
Did we just lose it?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay, 1 second. Let me.
Okay.
Okay, for some reason I lost that one. Yeah, it's for this one. I don't know what happened to it. Do you guys see my pan here or no?
Yeah, we can see the pan, yes.
Okay, so he's gonna fix that. I don't know what happened to the computer. But what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna take the potatoes, okay, and I'm gonna set them on the bottom of my pan, all over, okay? Okay. Okay, so I set it. Okay, then on top of my potatoes, I'm going to put tomatoes. Okay, I'm gonna get one more. And again, this is just for the bottom of our pan. In case it sits there too long and it starts burning on the bottom. Okay, so this is actually just the bottom of our pan. Okay. Okay. Let me just see my computer when it died on me. Sorry about that. Okay, so here's our quinoa.
We lost the view of the food.
The computer just shut off a second. I need to let me log that in. Let's see again. Let me see. Okay, are we back on? Back on?
Yes, we are. We got sound on both. So,
Okay, sorry about that. Let me see. Okay, so here we have our quinoa. Okay. Okay, so now right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start our filling, the fillings here, okay? So this is my pan. See what I've done here? I've done a layer of potatoes and on top I did tomatoes. And there's olive oil on the bottom, okay? Okay, I'm gonna turn my quinoa off. Now we are gonna start the fun part. If you're at home, I would wait till this cools down just so you don't burn your hands. We're gonna do it a little faster today. So we're gonna start with stuff that we don't have to touch it immediately, okay? So we're gonna start, even though we're gonna wait for the peppers the last to put them in the middle, to fill those up. Okay. Which is nicer because quinoa, not like rice, it doesn't take as long to cook. And no matter what, it will be cooked in the middle. Okay. And you don't have to add so much liquid to it too. Okay, so what I did is I filled my two peppers, fill them up. Okay. Now I'm gonna start with my cabbage. So here's the thing with the cabbage. We're gonna take off a little bit from the bottom and look at, can you see my cutting board? Yeah. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna take my quinoa, put it on the edge, and then like an envelope, we're gonna see, and we're gonna fold it up. See what I did? And set it aside. We're gonna do another one, okay? So I took off a little bit of the hard part. It's gonna be easier to fold, okay? I'm gonna take probably like a tablespoon of our quinoa and like an envelope, okay? And make it, so I would fold both ends first and then start wrapping it up. See what we did? See that? We have that. I'll do one more. Take off a little bit of the hard part of the cabbage. Put about a tablespoon. I could even put a little bit more, no matter what size of leaf you have. See, even though if the leaf is not perfect, we take one side, the other side, and then we grab it and we, with your hands, put pressure on it. And that's that, okay? Now we're gonna use our eggplant. We're gonna take our eggplant, the same. We're gonna put, now here you have to put a tablespoon, like you can't put too much, okay? And it's hot. We're gonna start rolling it up. See what I'm doing? Move that aside, okay? That. I have a tablespoon, even less, it matters the size of the, what we have, the pieces. You could stick in whatever we have.
so that just sort of sticks at the end there. It doesn't unravel or
It
anything.
doesn't stick yet. You notice that I put it on the bottom, like it's holding together right now because I put it like the bottom is on the bottom, okay? But soon we'll see how we all stick it together because naturally it sticks together later on. But see, we have this. So here I put a little bit more just because it's a bigger piece of eggplant. Okay. Put in that if it falls out. Okay. We could take some zucchini. Again. Here we need a little less. Okay. This. Or we're gonna make a melody out of our pot is gonna be so beautiful. Filling is a little hot, so it's a little harder to work with. Okay, we have our tomato. Let's fill that up. Okay. Even if it has little holes in it, what we do is we start from that side. So at least the end of of the fold up is the nice part. So we're gonna start with the part that it has a hole in it. And then we're actually gonna fold up. See, it's falling apart a little bit. But the end, right there, doesn't matter, see?
Jamie, do you ever use toothpicks?
Only on appetizers, not at
So
the.
you
not
don't
at
cook
this.
with them?
Nope.
You never cook with them?
What you could do, let's say with chicken, if you do chicken breast that is full, what I do is I make it and then I put it in saran wrap and freeze it. And then when you're actually putting it inside the pot, it's stuck together. I don't use toothpicks at all in anything. You just need it to put it in the freezer a little bit, just so it gets a little bit frozen, not too much, just that it sticks together. But here you don't have to, because the minute we put it in the pot, no matter, even if I stand them up in the pot or put them on the bottom like this, they'll still stick together. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So I did the zucchini. I have my little boats. Okay. And I'm filling up the boats. Okay, so see, I filled up my little zucchini boats. Okay. Open those up. So what we're doing is we're filling up anything, and the truth is you can actually take the mushrooms and fill the, take out the stem, and you can fill it with the same thing and put it in the pot as well. Like there's actually no vegetable that you can't really stuff it. And then you have a whole, like, I love vegetables, so no matter how you give it to me, I'll be happy.
Assuming that you did want to use the lentils in this, what point did you put those in? I mean, those are cooked ahead of time and then you put them in?
No. The lentils as well, I'll just add it to when I added the quinoa, I would add the lentils. And then I would add a little bit more liquid, because the minute the lentils hit the liquid, they absorb it. So they take all the liquid. But you just add it, even with the vegetables, anything, I would add it anyways. Not the amount that I did, because it's just I'm doing a whole bunch more than you would actually put in a pot maybe. But the lentils would basically just be added in the beginning with the quinoa, and then just add more liquid to it. Okay? But as you see, you don't really have to. It's not a must. I just love lentils. That makes it really Middle Eastern. Everything with lentils, and I love lentils.
Question, what kind of mushrooms would you use in that to give it the most savory flavor? Or would you put a combination?
Any.
Okay.
Any of them would work. Any of them that are in season would work.
Okay.
Yeah, especially ones that we can get down in here in Florida. Okay, so I'm still filling all of my vegetables. And then later on, I'm gonna set this all in the pot. Okay. So I have my, and you could just imagine the like how it looks like when it's all cooked and stuff and you bring it to the table, it's amazing. And really, you don't need more than this. Another thing that I really love to do is onion, stuffed onion. The stuffed onion is something that adds so much. And I'll show you guys how to do it. I didn't add that to it, but I'll show you guys how to do it because that would add so much right now to this whole mali that we have here, okay?
Doesn't matter what kind of onion.
You need a big one.
Yeah, I know, Vidalia.
No,
Bermuda.
you need the white ones, the big ones. And it works exactly like the cabbage. Because what you
Okay.
do is you boil it and then you start peeling it off little by little as it's there when you get to the point that you can actually work with it and it bends. But so what you do is, you see what I did? I take off 2 sides of the onion. Okay, so I took off the 2 sides. And then what I did is I took my knife and I did a slit all the way to the middle. Okay? And then you put it in hot water and then you cook it. And little by little, you start peeling it. You see, it's gonna peels like this. See what I have here? So I'm gonna try, I didn't boil this one. I'm gonna try and work with it without being cooked, okay? So I'm gonna take 1, just so you guys can get the idea, because this is actually one of the best things I like. And I take the quinoa, okay? Put it on the edge. Okay? Take it, see here what I'm doing? And then bring it in and start. See what I'm doing? Look at this. This is probably one of the best stuffed vegetables that one can have, especially with the garlic. One of my favorites, okay? So I have this and it worked, even though I didn't cook it. It was a big one, so you have to have a big one just because you have to have big ones that it rolls inside each other, okay?
Do you usually boil it like the cabbage?
Exactly like the cabbage, exactly like the cabbage. It has to be boiled like the cabbage, and then little by little, you start taking them off. Okay, so I'm gonna do one more. Okay. And then you just start going inside. And just imagine when it's cooked. Okay. I lost the filling of this one. Okay. Fill this last cabbage up. Okay, so again, I'm folding it and then I'm going in. So I'm going in. I'm gonna have a cabbage right there. Okay. Okay, see what I have here? I have all these vegetables. And now the art is setting up in our pan, looking as pretty as possible. So I would take the cabbage, set it around. Because I have only 1 tomato, I'm gonna keep that for the last part. I'm gonna take. Now, if you have a lot of company, I would just make sure that it goes around, your cabbage goes around, and then a little bit less eggplant because not so many people like the eggplant. So I'd make that a little smaller around it. Or even the zucchini put all around because a lot more people like the zucchini. Put my eggplant. And take my tomato, put it here. Put my peppers here.
All the vegetables you're using, it just reminds me of a ratatouille.
True, just without the
Right.
filling inside, right?
Modified, yeah, this is
Yeah.
gonna be scrumptious.
You can do a whole pot with just one vegetable. You don't have to do whatever I'm doing. I just have
Right.
people that I know that love more this and less that, or,
Right.
you know, this is just an option of covering all bases, and the taste later on is amazing. With all the
Yeah.
vegetables together is amazing.
I'm sure I missed this because I was at this grocery store when you started. Where are you posting the recipe per se? The shopping
I will
list, but
send it to Scott and to Shelley later on,
wonderful,
the
thank
full
you.
thing,
Okay,
because I need to fix it up just because I the question with the lentils came up and she didn't notice that.
okay, thank you.
That was a problem because things that we eat, not everybody does. So for me, it's a little harder to think of what's kosher or not.
Okay, and then the other thing you mentioned was if we were in Weston, we could taste it. So do you have a restaurant?
I have a restaurant in Plantation.
What's it called?
It's Izgara. But
Oh, okay. I know that place.
so yeah, that's
Awesome. Yes,
my restaurant.
perfect. Yep,
But most
okay.
of these items like this, you'll find with my catering, not so much at the restaurant.
Okay,
Yeah, it's a little harder to keep up with the. So what I'm gonna do, but yeah, this is stuff that you'll find on my catering more than at the restaurant menu.
okay, so now you got to publish a catering cookbook.
One day I am. I'm working on something actually.
Okay,
Okay, so what I did is, look at this. See what I have? And you can fix it up however you like. I fix it up. Most pans you'll find the cabbage around, you'll do around things. You can set these up instead of laying down. Again, you can play with it however you want, okay? This is a pot of a whole meal right here. Now we're making the sauce, okay? For it to cook. So what we can do, I don't think I added the ingredients to that one. I might have not. But I'll update that. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna move this aside a second. So you can or do a red sauce with it, or you can do the rest of the vegetable broth. We could use that as a what would people prefer? The red sauce or a liquidy sauce? What's preference for everybody?
Be red.
Red?
Fred,
How many Red? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Okay. I don't know. I just can't see.
In
Okay,
my head,
George
I
is,
thought it was red anyways. That's why I got tomato sauce. I know. Okay, so we're gonna do the tomato sauce, and again, I'll send you later on the whole recipe for it. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn this on back. We're gonna turn this back on. Okay. Olive oil again. I use the extra virgin olive oil. Love this company. I use it at the restaurant. I buy it like in tubs. I use tubs of this, literally. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, this is really easy, we don't need much. Because all the taste is already gonna be in our filling, so we don't, and then the vegetables, we don't need much, okay? We turn this on, we put a little olive oil. I would say probably like a teaspoon of olive oil. Some people would use butter. I don't really like butter. I think the taste of butter kind of takes the whole taste away of no matter what you're trying to make. Even though I found a really nice vegan butter, but it still has the taste of butter. So that's why I love olive oil. And it's much healthier too. In Israel, I think it's because we have olive oil trees growing everywhere. It's something that we learn from young age to make olives. and to use olive oil. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the same spices that we used on our quinoa. Okay, so we have paprika. I have garlic powder. I have the cumin. Okay. I would do a teaspoon of each. And then salt and pepper.
You mean cumin?
Yes, we put cumin, yes.
Okay, you were confusing me because you were saying it differently.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, cumin, yeah. Cumin, yes, sorry. Okay. And now it's really thick. So we're gonna add water to it, but we're just gonna bring it to a boil. We're gonna take our lids of our peppers. Top her up. That and the tomato as well. Let's not forget them. Let's get this off for the salad. So what we're gonna do is, we don't want it this thick, okay? Because we don't want the tomato sauce to be the taste of our dish. We want the taste of our vegetables coming out more than the tomato sauce. And it'd be more dominant. The tomato sauce can take away taste of everything. I'm gonna get a little bit more salt on mine. And taste it before you put it in the pot.
Could you shortcut and use V8?
Do what?
Could you shortcut and use V8?
You could, the tomato, the soup. I've never tried it. I'm not gonna lie.
I just thought about,
I've
yeah.
never tried it myself. Maybe
just
you
a
could,
thought.
maybe not.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Again, I like trying stuff. Like I like using everything from scratch and then I know exactly what's in there. That's my thing. Not everybody, but try it. You have nothing to lose because it's natural stuff. But I've never actually drank it or like tasted it, so I don't know what it is. I can't tell you if yes or no.
Okay,
But let me know. If you do try it, let me know.
okay.
Okay. And if you like cayenne pepper, if you like it a little spicy, put that in there. And put the peppers, the chili peppers too. I use these too. Also. I love this. And I add it to all of my, and I add it to all of my dishes. You could cut them, you could just put them in like this. It's not a must, only if you like spice. Okay.
Yeah, we can tell you like spice.
I do. I'm Israeli. You can. I love.
It's good for you.
It is. It opens your heartburn.
And it opens your
And everything
sinuses. That's right.
And everything else.
Amy, is that a particular kind of chili pepper? Or?
I just love this. I love this one or the one that you use on the pizza. I use this one too. If you don't have that.
Pepperoncini.
The red peppers. I try to go as original as I can to the like I
Oh,
love
red
to
pepper
use
flake.
the real ingredients. I love, but you can use this as well if you like spice. You can use jalapenos if you like. Or the red peppers, which are
Where do you get those red japones?
I get them at Publix.
Thank you.
At Publix, they have them. So we're gonna make all of the spices pop out here. And we're gonna take a little of that off like that. And what we're gonna do and take a little and make sure that I put some sauce in my the vegetables that are closed like that. Okay, so let's make sure that we have it in the onion and then the peppers. Okay. And then close the tops on them. Okay. Well, now what we're gonna do is all the rest of the sauce. Put all over everything. Okay. Make sure that everything is covered. And I'm using a cup just to make sure that everything. Okay. And then at this point, I already take this. Okay, and I poured it all over, making sure that everything is covered. Okay. Now what we can do right now, if you like, if you don't, there's a lot of people that don't like cilantro. It doesn't have to be really small, it could be small, it could be like, okay, or parsley. Okay, this is for the color. You see the color? My pot. You could take another cup of water. Just add it. And then you cook this with the lid on very, 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 very low for at least an hour, if not 2 hours. If your if your stovetop goes really, really low, it could be up to 2 hours. Okay? So you put the lid on and this cooks. The longer it cooks, the longer all of the tastes come together. So the longer you let it sit there inside all the mixture and all of the sauces, the taste is going to be much better. So if you have the option to put it in really, 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 really low, once in a while, give it a little shake. Don't stir it. No stirring. Just give it a little shake with the lid. The potatoes on the bottom and the tomatoes are going to make sure that they don't stick to the bottom. The only thing that's going to stick to the bottom is the potatoes and the tomatoes. Okay? And that's where you put them on the bottom. So we're going to just give it a little shake it once in a while, that it's not getting stuck. Okay? And this goes on our stovetop. On as low as can be. Don't
Low
even
and
bring it
slow.
to a boil. Okay? And now we're gonna do my favorite salad. And it's actually one of my famous salads in most of my catering, every catering actually, that I've done lately. They all had this salad in it. It's a famous salad in Israel as well. It's a very summery, fun, easy. If you barbecue, it's something that you put together and people just love it. I did go to the store and look for the pomegranate seeds. I didn't find them. So it's not the time. But it's not a breaker. It's not a break of the, like it adds to it, but you don't have to. Okay? But around then, Rosh Hashanah.
The pomegranate seeds are really hard to find. I went looking for them myself before. They're not here.
Yeah, we had them up to a week ago. And now today they were like, you're totally far out with the season. So yeah, I get it. It's hard, but when they do come back, which is usually around Rosh Hashanah, they come back, then just add the pomegranates. But it's not a deal breaker. Okay. One thing that I like to do, because at Costco is the only place that I found a big container of the cherry tomatoes that are colorful. Again, you don't have to. It's not a deal breaker if they're just red. If you're trying to impress someone, you have to have the colorful cherry tomatoes. So Costco has the best ones that have the most variety of colors. So that's where I get them. So we have that. My favorite thing in the world, I have garlic. We need the peppers. I like it spicy, not a must. You don't have to. I do add the spice, so I'll have a jalapeno or a red pepper, which is not, it's not spicy. And I have basil. And I have pine nuts. Okay. I have pine nuts, which we're gonna roast a little bit later. And then you would have the pomegranate seeds as well. That is something that adds, but it's not a must. Okay. Pomegranate, this. If you want to find, these are something that if you go to a store, they're usually like $5. They're very expensive here. In Israel, they're not that expensive. At Publix, they have this company, one of my favorites. They have them on the top, like you'll find them, or on the bottom, on the top, in these bags. It's amazing. You don't have to buy $5. This costs it costs $1 at Publix.
Yep. Yep.
So just make sure that you don't have to buy those expensive ones. These are exactly the same. Just, you have to look for them. I need lemon, salt and pepper, and we need olive oil. Again, olive oil is my to-go. It could be a childhood thing. I don't know. I love olive oil. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take, let me just wash off my knife. Okay. One thing too, you can add if you want to do a little bit adding to the colors with the green. I take the baby mix lettuce packages that you have. I put it on the bottom of the thing. I don't mix it. I put it on the bottom just for color. And then on this, I put all the rest. Okay. This is a salad that I personally could eat every day. Not a problem. We're going to cut them into fourths. Okay. And make sure you have a variety of colors, because that makes the salad much more special. Okay. I'm gonna have a variety of colors. I'm telling you, if you make this salad for anybody, if someone asks you to bring something, this is, it's not even my salad. It's something that is huge in Israel. Like it's a very famous salad. And it doesn't have a lot of ingredients to it or a lot of work to it. And it's just phenomenal. Like it's just so beautiful and so summery and so fresh. So I'll cut.
How do you keep your knives so sharp?
I have a sharpener. I have someone that sharpens it. Someone that comes to the restaurant and sharpens. But this is actually this is like one of the cheapest knives that I've owned. But I love it. I seriously love it. And I've cut my fingers, my arms so many times that I know to be careful.
I used to buy an individual pair of Fisker scissors instead of using the knife, and just to save my fingers.
Like I said, the whole secret is to keep your fingers in, and then the knife actually doesn't cut but with sharpening my knife, I did that. Like I sharpened my knife with the machine and I did that. So sometimes when you're too busy with doing stuff, like I don't know if any of you worked in a restaurant, but it's very intense. Everything has to happen, get out in the same minute, has to move in the same minute. You don't have time to think twice, actually. So that's one thing. So no matter what knife I had, it's actually better that I don't have the fanciest ones, because I do damage with with all that I learned, I still do stuff that I should. So I have my tomatoes, okay? And then I'm going to take, again, this is all up to you guys. You guys decide how much you want. This is me on this amount, okay? For most people, it's 1. For most people, it's 1, okay?
So we got a question here for Izgara. And I'm gonna put this in the chat room. What's the address in Plantation?
It's on South Pine Island Road in Plantation. So it's 1251 in South Pine Island Road in Plantation.
Say that
1251 South Pine Island Road.
1251 South Pine Island Road, Plantation,
Thanks.
33324. Phone numbers 954-475-8990. You could Google the name, it'll all come up for you. On the west side of Pine Island, right before 84, isn't it?
It's right underneath, like it's between Plantation and Davie.
Yep, right
It's
before
right
84.
underneath, we're on the Plantation side.
Yep.
With all this garlic, you wouldn't be going kissing anybody, maybe, but it adds a lot. I'm telling you guys, it makes a difference. In my opinion, it makes a difference. I had a class like a month ago, and they too was like, wow, how much garlic? But then I got so many feedback in the end that they were like, oh, because a lot of people are scared of the taste and scared of the smell. But if you put all that aside, it adds so much. You don't really need to add a lot of more spices to it because the garlic is amazing. So I'm chopping it up really small as it gets. Okay. If you want to learn knife skills, you could start. You lay it back a little bit and you keep on chopping. Get it as small, because even if you use this, it's still bigger pieces. And we want to get it as small as we can with this, okay? And look, my fingers aren't in the way. So just using.
Are you holding the knife at an angle on purpose?
Yes, it's chopping it on the side, on the other side too. And you're getting to angles as choppy as can be.
Jamie, what about using like a garlic mesher, like that kotesh shum, I don't know how to say that in
You could use
English,
this too.
Garlic press.
A
Garlic
garlic press,
press.
exactly,
You could
exactly.
use those too. You could use them.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're gonna go to the pepper. Okay. And this is the jalapeno. Again, up to you guys if you guys want it a spicy or not.
Making me hungry, Jamie.
You need to come back and get the pot. It's all yours. I thought you were coming over, so it's like you were gonna take it the pot home.
My in-laws are here from Israel, so I'm also learning from her at the same time.
That's exciting.
She stuffed, well, that's not vegetarian, but she also did some stuffing this weekend.
That's exciting. Nothing with family like family when they come to visit, for sure. Okay. So this is based on how spicy you guys want it. You guys can even only use a half of it. Oops. I'm a ratio to my tomatoes. Okay, now the basil, I'm not gonna cut so small because I do like the filling of the basil, not only the taste, I love the leaves of the basil. So that we're not gonna cut so small. We're not gonna chop it up, okay? Give it like this. And that's it. Okay,
You put in the seeds and the membranes from the jalapeno in there too, right?
everything, everything.
I wonder if anybody in this group that's watching you, I don't know if there's anybody in this, anybody want to tell me, raise their hand if they would put that much in there? They would use a jalapeno. Oh, Sue would? Okay, good for you.
I
I'm just
take it.
curious.
And the
My father used to say for spicy food, it's good for you. Put hair on your chest. Don't worry about it.
I love spicy, like even no matter what dish I
Wakes-
make, I add something to it. I have to.
It wakes up your mouth. Yeah.
It's amazing. The only thing is the older you get, it kind of hurts a little more, but we're not quitters. We don't quit. Okay, so what we're gonna do with the pine nuts, you can put them or in here, but I'm actually going to saute them a little bit with a little olive oil, just to brown them a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna roast them a little bit before I put them in my. But Scott, you probably wouldn't see a lot of people that put in so much garlic either. Garlic is something that not everybody per se would put as much. But let me tell you, the taste of the garlic and the jalapenos and the basil in it, put cilantro, your mouth is like popping with taste. There's no more words to say about that. I'm gonna put a little bit more in here. The minute starts getting hot. I'm not gonna burn them. I just need to give them a little bit of a brown, like to make sure that they're a little brown. The taste is good no matter what. But in the meantime, what we can do is we're going to take our lemon. We're gonna cut it without that. We're gonna take a half a lemon. We are going to squeeze it. If you have a squeezer, you can use a lemon squeezer. What I'm doing, I'm using my hand and then I keep all the stuff on the top. There we go. Take some salt. We'll take regular salt. Olive oil. I'm gonna wait for my pine nuts. I'm telling you guys, this salad is something that is seriously amazing.
Am I wrong? Don't they sell little containers of pomegranate seeds in the juice section of the grocery store? I can picture seeing it in public.
do
where
have
sell the
them.
bottled juices.
Not the bottle, but you have the ones that they're like in a container, like in a breakfast area or but a salad.
Yeah.
I'll show you one thing. I bought that a few times. They're not fresh. They've been sitting there for a
Okay.
long time, and most of them
Okay.
are you can't eat them. So it's a waste of $6.
Okay.
I didn't look at that
Okay.
today. I was gonna get that instead of just because I couldn't find the pomegranates. But if you look at them, there's not actually much of the pomegranate on the seed. And then
Okay.
I was like, it's not worth, and it was $6. In my opinion, it's not worth it because I would rather leave it out of the salad than add something that's been sitting there, I don't know how long in the container. But I did look at that today because I did see it. So I'm just saying, I would rather wait till when it comes back into season than actually waste it on something that is, so I'm gonna plate it. I could smell the smell already. I don't know about you guys, but I could smell the smell. I'm gonna wait for my wait for my pine nuts. See what's happening? This is when they're done. See, they're a little brown. Okay. Now, look at this. I like a lot of pine nuts too. Just make sure that you catch them before they burn, okay? Because you just want them to get a little brown. Okay. Take a basil leaf.
I'm wanting to put some feta cheese on top, but that would
Good.
take away from being vegetarian.
Yeah, actually, the truth is I found this vegetarian feta cheese at Publix. I used it because you don't eat meat and milk together. So I found this feta cheese at Publix in the aisle of the vegetarian things. One-on-one vegetarian feta cheese, one-on-one. I don't have the name with me right now, but it was one-on-one. It tasted exactly like feta cheese. And it was vegan. So my family is pretty amazing. It was hard for them to cope to put one and one together, but if you put that aside a second, it was one-on-one, definitely. So here's the salad, our summer salad that we have. Put this on every holiday table you have from now on. It's gonna be your #1 seller, guaranteed.
Beautiful. That is so, the dishes you made today are so fantastic looking. I mean, they're amazing.
There's so much you could do with vegetables. There's like the world is so, especially now, the more that people know about vegetables, it's crazy.
Well, thank you for those beautiful dishes today. And do we have any final questions from anybody from our audience here?
Jamie, can we see the vegetables cooking? Can you show us?
Vegetables are right here.
Okay.
Wait.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, right? Nice.
Oh, beautiful.
Smells are amazing. Amazing.
It's
Okay.
beautiful.
And now
you
it's gonna stay here for a few hours. And it's on the lowest it can be.
Low and slow.
Fantastic. So here's a challenge for us, because I knew none of us were cooking today, although I know we distributed some of the ingredients ahead of time, because like me, I suspect many people just want to watch what you're doing first and then can't cook and watch at the same time. But so we'll have the video. I'll post that hopefully today or maybe tomorrow morning and pass that along. And my question for the group here, because I know at least some of the group here will be at our temple Seder on Saturday night. And I don't know if there's a challenge of any of you trying to make either or both of those dishes. Anybody want to commit to that?
No.
I can try the salad.
All right.
Maybe.
Stephanie's got her hand up.
I've got some of the ingredients here, but I don't have the tomatoes or the peppers here. And the basil I don't have right now.
Okay, we got a whole week.
Yeah, it's on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm a maybe.
Oh, how do you keep the basil? Every time I buy it, it gets rotten like by the next day.
I buy the one, sometimes I buy it from Restaurant Depot, sometimes I buy it from Publix. I buy the big container. I leave it in the fridge. You could take it out and put it in Ziploc bags, but I leave it on the bottom of the fridge. But I use it a lot, so it doesn't last at my house anyways that long. Like I use it for everything. I use it for a lot of salads. I use it. So if you're not using it that much, just buy the small. If you could grow it, much better.
Yeah, we buy
Talked
the
about
big-
it
we
before,
buy
a
a
little harder.
With cilantro and green onions, I clean them and pick them off and fresh freeze them because they were spoiling on me. So I always have cilantro and scallions all chopped up and ready to go from the freezer.
Wow.
Yeah, that works for me too, but
You could do basil. I'm sure you could do basil too.
I'm not sure about the leaves so much.
Well, I do it with cilantro.
We buy a basil plant.
I've never, I don't the freeze, but okay.
I have fresh frozen cilantro and green onions in the
Nice.
freezer.
Nice. Basil, if you're not using it a lot, don't buy a lot of it because not a lot of people use it. Cilantro I use a lot. Like cilantro is probably my number one. Even though my daughter, she can't eat cilantro, she has that genetic that it tastes like soap, which I don't know how a daughter of mine has that, but yes, she and I use it a lot. I kill her little by little. But I love cilantro, so I use it a lot in most of my dishes. I tried now lately to use more parsley, but it doesn't have the same taste, in my opinion.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I love
No.
cilantro. I love cilantro. I love just greenery. I could make a dish with any greenery. Just give it to me, and I'll like put it together. I'll use it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
But if anybody wants to try it, for the holiday, for the Seder, just reach out to me. I'll be happy to help.
So tell us a little bit. I know we've got the address for Izgara now posted in the chat room, and we're going to pass that along. And you mentioned that. Is there anything else, any special events coming up? Or I know you mentioned that you do catering.
I do mostly lately since the Corona. I've been doing a lot more of private chef events that people bring me to their house, and I cook them dinner, and I the whole of like they see the whole process before them. That is something that's huge right now that it wasn't before. Like I'm busy with that more than anything right now, more than the restaurant even. That's something that's changed. Our world changed definitely, and people are just trying to adapt to the best they can about it.
Yeah.
And not many people still going out to eat.
Yeah.
Yet, so.
And you mentioned that you do have Uber and some of the delivery services.
Yeah, we do work with Uber, even though there are yeah, it's a hate-love relationship kind of thing. But yeah, we do have Uber, we have DoorDash, we actually work with all of them. DoorDash, Postmates, Uber Eats, Grubhub, we work with all of them because this day and age, everybody's actually ordering in more than going out to eat. Because people are kind of scared. Even though here in South Florida, we're pretty fortunate that we kind of are back to life. If you go up north, not so much.
But you can still dine in your restaurant, yes?
Yeah, we have dine-in. And now dine-in is actually coming back. The last week has been picking up, the dine-in. Like we keep the distance, we keep our the safety. Like we don't, like we make sure that everybody's safe.
Right.
It's nice to see people, like, and people are so friendly and people are just so happy to be at their house. It's more of, yeah, we love to see people again.
All right, so you open at 11?
Yeah, we open at 11. We're open all week except Sundays.
Okay.
And then I'm here. You can find me on here on Sundays. I do food class.
Well, great.
Or
Well,
kids cooking classes at the restaurant.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you do some of that.
Yeah, I do cooking classes for kids at the restaurant
Oh,
Sundays once in a
Nice.
while.
that's
So
interesting.
usually it's around the Jewish holidays that I do. So we do something that does to do with the holiday.
Right.
Nice.
That's a good thing for us to keep in mind for the temple as well.
Yeah, for the
That's a
school
great idea.
kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We do.
all right.
Passover, we didn't do anything yet, but yeah.
But this is the only recorded thing that we can watch you do online, correct? There's nothing else we can
You
watch
could
you do
join my
online?
Facebook group. Lately I had less time for it, but it's Chef Jamie E. Sharing Middle Eastern. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't remember, but it's Chef Jamie E. I share my recipes on there too. Lately, I have not had so much time to do it like I did during the Corona. Then I was doing an update. I was updating it every day. Now I don't have time for that so much. And my Instagram too. I'm on there a lot.
Wait, I'm gonna share here Jamie's
Got it.
cooking and sharing recipes, right, Jamie? That page?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I know. I take stuff from there.
858 members and growing. That's awesome.
You could see a lot of the private events she does. She does beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. I learned how
Each
to
word
make
separate. Chef,
Chef Jamie. I learned how to make kube. I don't know if you know what
Ah,
kube
yeah.
is from her. Remember during the corona, and that's a very difficult thing to do. But she really simplified it, and I think
what is it?
it's called kube. It's a Syrian food.
Yeah,
It's
kibbeh. Call
it's
it
like
kibbeh.
little
Oh, kibbeh.
Yeah,
Kibbeh.
I was gonna do it on this one, but it's not kosher for Passover.
Yeah.
They have something similar to that in Brazil too.
That's one of the
Like,
famous dishes in Israel. Probably like no
Yeah.
matter where you go, that's one of the famous dishes.
It's a big, yeah.
And I make it vegetarian too. So if you guys want something after Passover,
Okay.
Okay, all righty.
Well, I think we're good. I think we're wrapping it up here. Just to remind people, as Stephanie announced a little bit earlier, we got an event in another month. I think it's the 18th of April, which is another Sunday, that we're going to do an Italian vegan cooking demo with a little bit of history of Italian Roman Jews. And that'll be fun. So we'll look forward to that as well. And again, we want to thank Jamie so much for this day, and then Shelley for putting us in touch with her. And we'll look forward to learning about some more IAC events that are coming up as well.
Thank
definitely.
you.
There's nothing like that.
Thank you.
Be awesome.
All right. Well, thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you so much. Nice meeting you all. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.